that I had, but I feel like it's not all gonna happen on this video. But it's crazy because I'm gonna tell you about the dream that I had today. It was very simple. I was chilling at one of the houses that I always chill in, and ICE came in and they got me. They got me. I was running. I was escaping. I had a burner phone trying to communicate with all my other family members that I heard that was in ICE. And basically, they came and got me out of my house, and I woke up. They came and got me out of my house, and they kidnapped me. And they put me in some type of facility, but before they opened the doors to the facility or whatever, I escaped. Like, I was ducking off and escaping, but somebody ended up finding me. I ended up running on that little narrow line where it's on a freeway. It's only like a little bit of space to walk. I ended up running on there. A nigga was chasing me on a bike. It was some weird stuff. But that was just a dream that I had today, right? But I always had this vision, right? That every time that we walk outside of our houses is going to be soldiers standing there with guns ready. So you cannot do anything without those soldiers seeing you. You can't go to the grocery store. You can't go to the bank. You can't do anything without somebody outside of your door with guns. Like, everything that they do is in their control. It's like you living in your house right now. You look outside and you see soldiers out there all in front of everybody's door, anybody's door they can, with guns, waiting for somebody to come out. It's like everything we do is on their beck and call, their say so. And I had a war dream. Maybe I'm rambling, and I don't want to ramble because I want my message to be effective, you know what I mean? And putting a lot of information out at once, it's not going to be effective all the time. But I already had a dream. I don't know if you remember, but I had a dream in the past where they did something where all the black people around me, and only the black people around me, was hiding and being chased because we were supposed to be captured, and if they saw us, they was either going to kill us or kidnap us. I had that dream also this year. I know, of course, a lot of people don't care about what's going on. They don't care about ICE. They feel like if it don't pertain to them and things like that, which, okay, cool. And also, I know how they feel. Well, where was they? Look, it's them now, but us next, if that makes sense. And that's a lot of things that I'm getting from them dreams. Like Walmart, I used to have crazy dreams that they turned all the Walmart to Amazon buildings into FEMA camps. Like, I've always had dreams about the Nazis throughout the year, but this, when I actually got kidnapped by ICE in this dream, and this is before all this ICE shit really got heavy, I've been having dreams about wars, Nazis, FEMA camps, and I always had a vision, not even necessarily a dream, a vision. If you know, you know, bro. Like, I'm a seer. I always have visions about people with guards and tanks and all of that flooding the whole streets. So there's nothing you can do. There's no way you could communicate without them seeing this. You know we can't. They can see everything's on their phone anyway. Even if you do got a phone, hey, this is the plan. We gonna escape here, do this. They see that, bow, shoot you. Like, nothing you can do to escape. These phones is so fucking tapped in. Like, these cameras, even when your camera not on, they can see everything we can do. They can hear everything we do. Like, you know, like, and that's exactly how my vision was, except it was to a certain instinctive, like, you even try to, up the place I'm in now, you go to try to look at somebody in an apartment hall, trying to communicate a little bit. You got a guard right there. Who that? They catch you, it's over. Like, everything they do is, like, literally under control. It's not just how control it is now where we slick control, but we still got freedom. It was control. All control. Everywhere you went. Every movement you went.
Powers, history is riddled with unexplained events. You can turn back now and learn the stuff they don't want you to know. Here are the facts. The Federal Emergency Management Agency was created in 1976 and charged with handling domestic emergencies. When most people think of FEMA, they think of hurricanes, earthquakes, tornadoes and floods. Since its inception, FEMA has consistently saved American lives. Like the Boy Scouts, FEMA aims to be prepared. They provide logistical support, food, clothing, and other services in emergency situations. The agency has also built housing facilities in locations across the world. To the mainstream media, this is just another step in preparing for catastrophes. But to others, it's something much worse. Here's where it gets crazy. According to broadcaster Alex Jones, FEMA is a front for a secret government, and the housing locations will actually serve as quarantine centers or internment camps. This is not an unfounded fear. After all, during World War II, the US forced over 100,000 Japanese Americans into government camps for the duration of the conflict, and civil unrest could be considered a domestic emergency. How would this insurrection occur? Theorists cite any number of possible causes, from the establishment of a one-world government to a national pandemic. Some believe a global elite of bankers and aristocrats may artificially create a disaster to trigger a massive incarceration of US citizens who object to the plan, whatever that plan might be. Fringe researcher Mary Louise alleges that FEMA keeps a red list and a blue list, where people on the blue list will be shipped to camps for quarantine or re-education, while those on the red list will be executed. Skeptics rightly point out that this conspiracy requires an amazing, even implausible, level of organization. Also, a large natural disaster can displace hundreds of thousands of people, so building temporary housing in advance seems like a good idea. Yet there's another angle here. The US already holds the world's largest prison population, with over 2 million people incarcerated. Most of the people who believe that FEMA is a cover for a mass imprisonment also believe in the Illuminati, Freemasons, or satanic conspiracies. Sometimes they believe in all three. The outlandish nature of some theories may make them hard to swallow, yet the facts are foreboding even to skeptics. The federal government has indeed constructed massive housing facilities across the United States, from Oakdale, California to Atlanta, Georgia. Executive orders have given FEMA and other agencies increasingly broad emergency powers, even allowing the US Army and Marine Corps to perform domestic operations. Theorists like Dr. John Coleman allege the focus of FEMA has steadily moved away from natural disasters to concentrate on the management of a hypothetically unruly populace. In 2003, FEMA was incorporated into the Department of Homeland Security. To most Americans, this is just another game of bureaucratic musical chairs. However, it makes perfect sense to conspiracy theorists. Before you reject this theory, take a look at the laws surrounding the Constitution, FEMA, Homeland Security, and other related agencies. Pay close attention to Rex 84, the Patriot Act extensions, Operation Garden Plot, and the executive orders that created FEMA. Conspiracy theorists think these documents are only the tip of the iceberg. The rest, for now, is stuff they don't want you to know.
The United States operated Native American concentration camps in the 1830s that went on for decades and later evolved into reservations. During World War II, the U.S. imprisoned Japanese Americans. About 1,000 indigenous Aleuts of Alaska were forced into camps as their homes were burned to the ground so that invading Japanese forces could not use them. After the war, the United States seized Okinawan homes and burned them to the ground to make way for military bases, forcing 300,000 civilians into concentration camps, and deliberately starved about 1 million Germans to death in prison camps. The Subversive Activities Control Act of 1950 led to the construction of concentration camps meant to hold American dissidents. In 1961, the U.S. forced 8 million South Vietnamese civilians into prison camps to deprive the Viet Cong of any potential support. Starting back in the late 90s, Alex Jones has been releasing films warning that people are being conditioned to accept seeing their neighbors rounded up and thrown in prison camps, such as the WTO protests, where hundreds of protesters were arrested and thrown into jail. The 2004 Republican National Convention, where over 1,000 protesters were arrested and sent to a makeshift prison. and in Katrina, where police went door to door confiscating guns.
The police and National Guard going street by street, house to house, sometimes entering open houses with guns drawn and instructions to disarm anyone inside.
You say guns will be taken?
No one will be able to be armed. We will take all weapons.
You see, for over 20 years, the Federal Emergency Management Agency has been building and constructing, maintaining concentration camps, as well as the personnel to incarcerate literally tens of millions of Americans. It seems now, with some of the latest developments, they are attempting in a psychological warfare program to condition and control the populace so the populace will actually believe that all of this is needed to maintain the public safety.
As we in the research community say, this is a psyops. They're preparing people for what is coming, not what is being presented today.
So you're saying they're preparing people to accept it with incrementalism?
That is correct. Like the old frog example. You know, you put the frog in the water and you just gradually continue to raise the heat on the water until the frog is cooked.
After 9/11 came the Patriot Act, and American citizens officially became potential enemies of the state. In 2006, President Bush amended the National Defense Authorization Act to grant the president power to declare martial law, and in 2007, signed Directive 51.
For the smallest of reasons, including, in the document's own text, any incident in the world, regardless of location, that affects population, infrastructure, environment, economy, or government functions can trigger, at the president's will, total martial law.
During COVID, healthy people with no symptoms were arrested and locked in prison camps because they failed a fraudulent PCR test. And if they tried to escape, their fellow prisoners reported them.
The second she jumped over, we all freaked out because we just wanted to call, to let the wellness people know, let the police know.
In response to their 000 calls, she was picked up by the police within 15 minutes and fined $5,000.
Prison camps are being built all over the world, and they are for whoever the government sees as a threat to their agenda. Reporting for InfoWars, this is Greg Reese.
The future. A dark, desolate world. A world of war, suffering, loss on both sides. Mutants and the humans who dared to help them. Fighting an enemy we cannot defeat.